It's a little deer rib bone, and right now I am making, this is just a really crude piece of, I can hopefully get it to focus. This right here is a piece of Kentucky hornstone, and it's just a really, it had some cracks in it, so I just decided to make a tool that I was actually going to use and not an arrowhead. And so right now I'm just cutting the bone, making it a cleaner cut so I can insert a knife into the bone. Very utilitarian knife. It's working well though. So I just snapped the bone, but I noticed it's pretty small inside. So either I can put in a really thin blade or I can just give it to the dog. Who knows? We'll see. I'll carve out some of that marrow bone and then we'll see what happens. The porous bone. So what I've started to do now is just take the flint knife that I have and carve a small groove down the middle, and I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to try to keep it straight, and we'll see how far down I need to go to insert a blade, and then I will make a blade for that. Hi. Hello. Hello. Hi. Yeah, so let me show you the knife I'm using. It's the same knife. Kind of crude thing. The advantage with these types of knives is you can carve wider grooves because the edge is all over the place. It's not nice and tapered, so that's the advantage to having the edge facing one way and then the other way. It's basically like having a wider saw. So yeah. The only hard part about having to cut this bone handle in notch is trying to not give in to the puppy face. She really wants this bone. She's really cute. I'm sorry, babe, you can't have it. It's a little off center because part of the rib is really thin, and it's really hard to take stone tools and carve right down the very center of this piece. But overall, I'll definitely be able to fit some sort of knife in here, so I'm happy about that. And if you know the rest of the bone is a little cracked, it's got some radial cracks in it. There's a little hole right here. I might, if I'm feeling creative, drill a little hole through here so I can put some cordage through it, wrap it around my wrist. And I'm also gonna just sand it down a bit with some sandstone and abrade it a little bit and make it a little more smooth, shiny. And but as for now, we need to find a knife that'll fit it or make one. I'm thinking agate. I think whenever you take really pretty agate and you mix it with something that looks a little bit crude like this, it makes a really cool looking knife. So we'll see what happens. But I can keep going on this. What I've been doing is using these really thin pieces of chert right here, like this one right here, super thin, and also this little one right here, and pressing down on the inside and kind of actually just shaving off pieces of the either side of the bone here. Hopefully it'll focus again. Yeah, just shaving it. So yeah, hopefully we'll make a little rib bone knife. Well, I've got a piece of agate right here, and it's really pretty blue agate. It's Brazilian agate, I think. And I know it's not materials that, I mean, you can find agate around here, but it's pretty rare. Yeah, so I'm gonna make a little knife blade out of it. It won't be too big. Hopefully it'll fit the blade. Here's the blade over here. That's about as big as it's gonna get, because I don't want to carve it too far out, otherwise it'll get really thin and then won't be as strong. So yeah, but this is all done with stone tools. Alright, here's the agate knife preform. I had to use another piece of agate because the other one cracked. I broke it. Starting to do pressure flaking on it. I gotta make it a stem point because there's no way I'm gonna be able to fit this fat thing into the blade. The base just has to be thin enough so where I can glue it in. Kind of pretty agate. Alright, I'll keep working on it. Here's the finished agate knife. Not perfect, just something to go into the handle of this fun little project. Pretty expedient, pretty fast. Made it kind of fast, but I made sure to make that base really thin so it fits nice and secure into the base of, or into the handle. And so these are the tools I use: some hammer stones and antler tines. This is a piece of bone right here for little notching and serrations mostly. So yeah, I'll show you how it fits in. So this is how the knife looks right now. I just want to show you what the agate knife looks like when it's put in. It's inserted into the haft. I'm going to glue it in, and I might wrap it with sinew, but the glue that I just made works really well. I have an old agate knife that I've been using, and the glue has not moved a bit, or cracked. One thing though, what I'm probably going to do is cut this part of the rib off and make it shorter, probably about that short. I don't like it too long like this. It's a little awkward, so I'm going to cut it. So stay tuned. So yeah, we've got that crack that goes down the piece, the length of the piece. Hopefully it won't interfere with cutting this, but we're pretty close. Alright, now time to polish the handle. Alright, so here's the knife handle. I just sanded it down with this old broken hammerstone. I still use it as a hammerstone, but it has fractured from hitting too hard of a rock kind of inward instead of using it like this. But I sanded it down on the rough sides and just kind of smoothed it out. So yeah, I'm gonna go glue in the knife handle, or glue in the blade now. Here's a little pine pitch glue stick, and out of the same batch of glue I hafted this agate knife, and you can see it's really nice glue. That knife isn't going anywhere. This was another knife that I made, obviously. Pretty crude, but I've been using it to carve wood and notches for arrows. Snapped a little bit, I'll have to resharpen it, but eventually I want to take it out of the haft and just keep it. Here's the oak wood handle from a scrub oak. And the stone flake cutting. And yeah. So hopefully this glue comes out and does what it's supposed to do. Alright. Alright. There it is, glued in. I'm trying to get some good footage of it in the winter light. It's kind of hard. But yeah, you can see the polish on the bone. It's a nice little knife. Now, one thing about this glue that I want to mention is that it's really strong because I didn't get it too hot. Watch. You can still dent it with your fingernail just a bit. That's how you know it's still good. Like, this will hold up. And that's what you want. Now, one thing that I probably should have done before I hafted the handle in, or the blade in, was I kind of want to carve on this side of the bone some sort of design, probably just a zigzag design. So I might do that. But other than that, that's how you make a simple little knife, stone tool knife, with a bone handle, with all original tools, original glue, and original methods. That's one thing I like to do. I like to stay away from modern tools and make it just how they were made back then. Only thing is, the blade on this looks a little like a, I'm not sure if I should have put serrations on it. Makes it look a little cheesy, but that's okay. They had serrations, and knives like this were used for a very, very long time here in North America. So yeah, it's cool. I almost forgot to test it. This will probably take the serrations off of the blade, but I don't really care. I just want to show you how strong this knife is with the glue. Just the glue, no wrapping. Let me show you. This is crepe myrtle. Really dense wood, really hard wood. I'm going to press right into it. Pressing really hard. Going all the way around. I don't want to damage my tree too much, but you can see that if you had used glue that was made improperly, meaning that it was heated up too hot, and 99% of people on YouTube do that, then that would not have worked. I would not have been able to do that. You have to get it to where it's just warm enough to where you can start mixing in dust, pine charcoal dust, or charcoal dust. Just hot enough, and just hot enough to where you can move it and insert things, haft stuff. Otherwise, you'll melt away the natural turpentine in. Anyway, as I was saying, my phone died. Don't overheat your pine pitch glue. Get it just hot enough to where it's gonna move around, and you can add ingredients, but not to where it's boiling and it's smoking and catching on fire. That's how you make weak pine pitch glue.